Welcome to Flying Upstream, the podcast where we uncover the choices, practices, and wisdom that defy mainstream conventions. I'm Kristyn.
And I'm Luisa. And together we're here to illuminate the alternative paths that have shaped human experiences through the ages. In each episode, we'll examine ways to move beyond societal norms. We're passionate about how timeless wisdom and unique lifestyle choices can foster healthier, sustainable, and enriching lives.
Join us as we navigate, challenge, and celebrate the beauty and insight of walking the road less traveled. If you've ever felt like you're flying north for the winter while everyone else is flying south, you've found your flock.
Free spirits, welcome back to another episode of the Flying Upstream podcast. Today we are rejoined by our wonderful guest, Shelley Devine. She is a best-selling author, a psychic medium, a Reiki Master, and a professional artist. She specializes in intuitive art and offers personalized coaching through her program, Awaken Your Creative Spirit. Welcome back again, Shelley, to the Flying Upstream podcast.
Hi, I'm planning on staying this time.
Shelley, we're so glad to have you back. Thank you for joining us again.
Me too.
So, free spirits, we're going to do something a little unconventional today. We're so lucky. Shelley is going to do a mediumship reading for us. So I'm going to turn this over to Shelley so she can explain a little bit more about what it is, and then we'll get right into it.
Okay, thank you. A mediumship reading is when I talk to your loved ones on the other side. And what I do is evidential mediumship, which means that I get a piece of evidence from your loved ones that there's no way that I could know, that makes it very clear to you that I am actually talking with them, rather than just being a general, oh, I see a grandmother baking. I might see that, but I want to get specific evidence so that you're like, absolutely, that's my grandmother, or absolutely, that's them. Okay. So if you just give me one little second here. Oh, okay. Well, speaking of grandmothers, I do have a sweet lady, and she's so funny because she's like almost mocking me, like putting on the apron, like, well, you said, but I do believe that she did do a lot of baking, and I'm feeling either mom or grandma, and she is super exuberant, very joyous, but firm when she has to be. And she's just got like all of these pots and pans. She's got all of these baked good. Everything is just going. It's like, it was her thing. Family comes together and I'm going to cook. That's kind of like what she's saying. Does that sound familiar to either of you? Because I feel like it's with Luisa.
I think that's my grandmother.
Okay, that's what I was feeling.
Yeah. Exuberant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was she a nice, round, huggable lady?
Yes, she was. Yeah.
I tried to be very nice.
That's absolutely her. Yes.
Okay, so she does love to cook. Okay, let me see if I can get any specific memory. Did she used to do your hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have a picture of her.
Did you do it a little too tight?
Yes. I have a picture. That's my one picture from her. I just got back where I'm sitting on her lap and she's doing my hair.
Yeah, and I can see your face kind of like, oh, that's tight. Yes, okay. That's so cute. You're pretty close to grandma, right?
Very close to grandma. Grandma, we were always together, and toward the later years of her life, every summer when I was off from school, she stayed at my dad's, and it was her and I all summer.
Okay. Good. Let me see if I can get anything more specific. Did she have troubles with her heart or lungs, something in the chest?
She did. Yeah.
Okay. Was that the way she passed?
It's unclear to me how
it's
she
unclear.
passed.
Okay.
Yeah.
It definitely had something to do with it. It played a role in it. whether it was the actual thing that caused her to pass or not, that heart, it played a role. Would that make sense to you?
It would, yeah, because
Okay.
she's been struggling with it for a couple
Oh,
years. Yeah.
all right. So she's showing me a necklace. It's kind of like, it almost seems like a round, I want to say medallion type of thing. And she's holding it up. Now, that's how spirit tells me that it's grandma, but it's also because I already figured out it was grandma. It also can do with an actual necklace. Would you know of a necklace that kind of had like a round medallion? It feels kind of like it's metal or silver or something.
There was, and I don't recall this, but there was a gold necklace
Mhm.
that it had like some stone on it, but I don't have that.
Okay. Okay. Do you know where the necklace is? You have no idea?
I don't. Yeah.
I think that I don't want to put my thoughts into it, so I got to stop myself there. It feels like she wanted you to have it, so it was meant in her thoughts. She wanted you to have it. Okay. Oh, this could get a little. You might need a tissue.
Yeah.
She is just sending you so much love, and she's still with you. I don't know if you ever feel her. Do you feel her with you?
I do, and my daughter tells me all the time that she's around.
Okay, your daughter can see her. That's so amazing because she is around a lot and she's watching and she's proud and she's just, whew, I'm getting shivers because of all the love.
Yes, there was a lot of love between us. And back to the necklace, just to your point, and also because I think it's important for our listeners to understand, is what you said about the necklace was so appropriate because I had a feeling that that necklace was meant for me, but someone else kept it. And that's
Okay.
why I said I don't have it, because there was this strong feeling to me that it was meant to be given to me. And
Okay.
it wasn't.
I have that feeling too. And what Spirit is saying to me is that spiritually, you have that necklace. Okay.
Okay.
I can feel it on you. I can see it on you. You have it, whether you have it physically or not. Spiritually, you do because it was meant for you. And it's okay that whoever else took it, they wanted to have the memory, and that's fine. But just know that that necklace is for you. Oh, so welcome. I'm gonna say thank you to her and just send her with love. And wow, that was pretty cool, huh?
That was so cool. And I instantly knew when you mentioned grandmother. I was like, that's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
grandmother. Yeah.
Well, I could see her and I knew it was for you. I just knew it. I don't know how much time we've done. Do you want me to try for you, Kristen?
Sure, let's give it a try.
Okay. Okay. So immediately I get a male who feels like he passed young. And I'm not talking like, I mean, it could be teenage young or it could be 30, 40 young. I mean, even 50 is young. I'm going to say that because I'm 56. So 50 is young. But I feel like this guy passed earlier than of old age. So I think it's someone on your father's side. Would that make sense to you?
So I have a
Don't give me
question.
too much. Don't give me too much info. Like you don't want to feed me, but go ahead.
So I'm adopted and I don't know anything about my biological family.
Okay. It,
So is it possible the person that you're talking to now is somebody from my biological family?
it could be if it doesn't match your adoptive family. It could be. Let me see. I think it's your brother, and
Crazy. Okay.
he's giving me that feeling of a brother, and it's also he's kind of watches over you, but he's very younger. I'm talking late teens, early 20s. Okay. Okay. And then I keep hearing guide. So he could be a guide of yours.
Mm.
Okay. I don't know if you're aware or if you talk to your guides or your angels or not, but this gentleman feels like he's on the side of your father's side. And also, I'm getting the feelings of guide. So he could very well be your guide. Let me see if I can. You're not going to know anything about your biological family. Okay. Well, if you've lost people in your adoptive family, which is your family,
Mm-hmm.
let's see if they can come through. All right. So this lady, again, I can't tell if it's mother or grandmother. Would you recognize your mother or your grandmother?
My grandmother, probably.
Mother, because she doesn't seem like really old. That's why I'm like, is this mom or is this grandma? She
Hmm.
kind of has salt and pepper hair. So it's like starting to gray, but she had dark hair. Does that sound right? The way that I see her, she's not very tall. She is nice and huggable too. And she feels like, okay, there it is. There's the necklace. This is grandma. She just showed me the necklace. And okay, this is interesting. So now that she is on the other side, she knows of this gentleman that I'm talking about. Even if she didn't know him in life, she knows now. Okay. He was a brother or a cousin or a friend, something to the side of you. And he is a guide. He's acting as a guide. This is what your grandmother is telling me. She is there too, but she says that you have a lot of angels around you.
Hmm.
Okay. And she's kind of like, she's covered. I'm just here to make sure, but she's covered, meaning that you've got guides and you've got angels and all of that. Let me see if I can get a specific piece of evidence. And this would be your adoptive grandmother, correct? So you knew her.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did know her.
So the necklace is pearls. Would that make sense? Did she wear
Yeah.
pearls?
Mm-hmm. I do have, yeah, I think one of the pearl necklaces I have actually is hers.
Yeah. Okay. So there's your evidence. Your evidence. Your evidence. My mouth doesn't want. What the weird lights on me? Okay. Yeah. So that's the evidence that I'm talking to your grandmother because she's like, just tell her the pearl necklace. So,
Hmm.
and of course, she's just lots of love. She doesn't have as much exuberance as Luisa's grandmother
Yep.
has. That makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
But she's kind and she's sweet, maybe even a little on the quieter side. Would that make sense?
Yeah, she was more like matter of fact in the way she
Yeah.
spoke.
Yeah. That's why she's like, they've got her covered, the guides and your angels, but I'm going to stay here and just make sure. That's what she said to me.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives you lots and lots of love, so much love, a lot of love.
Oh,
Let me ask you this. Do you happen to know, did she have anything going on with her stomach?
I don't know. I know that she passed away from cancer,
Okay.
but it was a bit of a mystery. I think she had breast cancer early in her life and then it came back and it spread to her whole body. That's as much as I really know.
Okay. Because I'm feeling it in the stomach, in like
Mhm.
the lower abdomen.
Mm,
So that's my guess is, she's trying to say, yeah, I was hurting here,
mm,
but no more. They're not suffering anymore. They are perfect over there. No more pain, no more fear, no more anger, no more regret. They don't feel the emotions, but they understand them. And so when we feel them, they can relay, that the love, they can relay that because they know what it means and they know it that you can feel it. So,
yeah.
okay, so I'm going to thank them and send them off with love. Very nice. How was that?
That was
That was
It was
amazing.
pretty cool, huh?
that was really neat. Thank you, Shelley. That was so special.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's my favorite thing to do. I absolutely love it. Just the feeling of it. It's a healing process. You guys are receiving healing from hearing from your loved ones, and I'm receiving it as being the telephone cord. It's channeled through me, so I receive the healing as well. And they do. Of course, they're already healed, but they can feel it too. So that's why mediumship is my very favorite.
That's incredible.
And I have a
Yeah.
question for people who haven't experienced this before. When you do mediumship readings, could someone ask you a specific question? And could they ask for a specific
Yep.
loved one to
Yep.
come through?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Is there someone in particular you wanted to hear from?
I
Okay,
was just
okay, okay.
asking for the audience.
What about you, Kristyn?
I would have expected my father to come through,
Okay, okay,
but he was the closest person to me that has passed, so that's why I say that.
okay. Your father. Do you ever see pictures of him when he was in his 20s or his teens? Do you know what he looked like?
Mhm.
Did he
Yeah.
have lighter brown hair, or was it this guy I'm seeing has like brown, lighter brown hair?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering if it's him because sometimes they will show themselves to me in the form that they want, in the form that they like. For
Oh,
example, like
interesting.
if somebody's child passes before they're born, they will come as like a 5 or 6 year old kid,
Hmm.
right? I'll describe this kid. Of course, they don't recognize him, but they say they did have a loss, and so I'm like, oh, they come at that age because an infant wouldn't be able to really communicate with me and stuff. I knew he was on your father's side, and I kind of feel like I don't. Maybe that's not him because he feels off to the side on the father's side. So,
Mhm.
do you have an uncle that has passed over, like your father's brother?
My father had a sister who was fairly young when she passed, like in I think early 30s, but I
Okay.
never knew her. She passed away
Okay.
before I was born.
So, Dad's here, and I laugh because he kind of comes kind of on the taller side. Well, I don't know how tall you are, but he was taller than you.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And did he have dark hair? And did he ever have like a mustache? Or
Honestly, not really. Like I always remember him having like grayish white hair. Like he went gray kind of early.
okay, so could this gentleman be your grandfather? Because I'm definitely seeing. I don't. This is going to sound weird, but I'm seeing a guy that looks like Geraldo Rivera,
Okay.
the salt and pepper hair, and the mustache and everything.
Yeah,
So could that, if that's not your father, could it be your grandfather?
possibly,
Okay.
possibly.
Dad says, and I'm saying says because I cannot see him, but he says, I'm here, I'm here. And he is, again, always with you. Oh, I just got like my heart just started beating really fast. There's like an anxiety. I'm feeling an anxiety. Ooh. Now he's stepping forward and he says, again, just got so much love for you, but he's talking about you when you were a little baby. And he was so amazed. He was just amazed at your littleness, your littleness, and just how, I mean, he just cherished you, just really cherished you, and was so amazed at just looking at you and your little fingers and your little toes. I know this can't really be evidence because you don't remember this, but this is what he's showing me. And I do see him now. Sometimes when I don't see them and I feel a strong emotion, like I was getting the anxiety, sometimes that means they're stuck in between a little.
Mm,
So I can cross them over by just asking them to step forward and tell me something about Kristyn. Just tell me something. And they step forward and they tell the story, and they're crossed over. They're not stuck anymore. Okay. But they're still, but they can still communicate.
Yeah.
So when I was starting getting that feeling and I could hear him, but I couldn't see him, I thought, oh, he's good now. He's good.
So has he been stuck like this whole time then? He passed away like 14 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, they don't cross over and then come back and get stuck. They just don't go across.
Mm.
And it's sometimes, if it's real sudden, then they're kind of confused. Sometimes they're just kind of stubborn.
Yep.
But also, that could be your grandfather, or your father, sorry. But also sometimes they have a purpose for being there. And I don't know what it is, but if he was supposed to stay there, I wouldn't have been able to cross him over. So I think he was just a little more hanging on, and got comfortable there.
Yeah.
Okay. But now he's more comfortable because now he sees what he's been missing.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
thank you for that.
You are so welcome. Oh, again, I'm thanking him and whoever the other gentleman was. That happens sometimes, but he came really close to you. So I feel like maybe he was somewhere in your birth family because he came right up to you like, I'm her dad kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Okay. So there's that. I sent them away with love and hope you guys enjoyed that. Do you have any more questions?
That was cool.
That was so cool. That was amazing.
Thank you, Shelley. I'm curious for our listeners to hear, what is the experience like for you? I hear you saying you see things, you hear things, you feel things. What is it like? Do you have images pop into your mind? Is it all just symbols? Like, what is that like for you?
Actually, all of that. Okay. But I see them. I'm going like this because I can see them right there. And the grandmothers were right there. And not like in physical form, like I could reach out and touch them, but I can see them even though they're not there. So it's in my mind, but I can tell where they are because sometimes they come in and stand in certain places in my house. And that's like, okay, why are you over there kind of thing. And it's usually positioning for who they are in your family. Like the father's side will always be on this side of you. So that's your right side. And the mother's would be on your left side. Yeah. So I see them. Sometimes I get, that's clairvoyance. When I hear them, it's clairaudience. And I just kind of hear it in my head. Like I just listen and they're telling me something in my head. But I have heard voices outside of my head. And those are usually for me. It's usually like my mom will yell my name. She'll be like, Shelley. I'm like, she likes to do that. And then the claircognizance is just, I just know what they're saying. I know what they're trying to do, trying to tell you. I just know it. And then there's clairsentience where I feel it. And when I want to know the way of their passing, I will invite them to touch me. And so when your grandmother, Luisa, did that, I felt it here. And for you, Kristyn, I felt it in the stomach. And then I say, okay, that's enough. Thank you. You can back off because I don't want to keep feeling those feelings, right?
Right.
But I like, and a lot of mediums don't like to do that, but I like to do it because it's another piece of evidence for me. If I can tell you how they passed or what was involved with it. And there's Claire, I can't think of it. I always call it clairsnifiance. That's not the right word, but that's when I smell things. So like I'll smell cigarette smoke and know that there's somebody here because we don't smoke, or I'll smell a perfume. I cannot remember the name of it, so I just call it clairsnifiance. Clairsmelliance.
That works.
You know what I'm talking about, so it works. Yeah.
So along those lines, you mentioned cigarette smoke, and I'm curious. My father was a smoker pretty much his entire life, and on the morning of his memorial service, we smelled cigarette smoke in our house, and my mom nearly passed out. because she never let him smoke in the house and the smell was in the house. So for people who do not have your gift, is it still possible that we would smell it? And
Mhm.
is that really coming from someone who has passed away, or is it all in our heads? What is that
I'm
like?
about to blow your mind, okay? Every single one of us is capable of doing what I do. We're born with it.
Mm,
It's our innate nature. It's in us. Intuition, that gut feeling,
mhm,
that's where it starts. And all of this work, okay, thank you. I'm getting goosebumps. I get goosebumps when I'm on the right track when I'm saying something. So, you know, all of us can do this. And you start with your intuition and you start listening more. And that's what I teach in my Awaken Your Creative Spirit course. And then what I'm doing, whether it's the cards or the mediumship, it's all intuition. If you want to come call it one thing, the psychic medium, whatever, it's intuition. We're intuitives. So,
mhm,
yes, when your dad passed and very shortly thereafter you smelled the smoke,
mhm.
absolutely, that was him letting you know that he was there. It's like my mom woke me up like 3 days after she passed. She woke me up from a sound sleep by calling my name real loud,
Mm.
right? And then I don't know, Luisa, you said that you feel your grandmother around, but I suggest is talking to them to say, hey, I know you're here. I can feel you.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I wanted to ask, but you already answered it so beautifully. Thank you about
Mhm.
developing these skills because I have a little bit of
You're good.
experience here. And I love that you shared that because we are all capable of this.
Yeah.
These are gifts that we're all born with. I wanted to add to what you said is that some of us like have some that are a little bit stronger than others. So you've
Mhm.
mastered, it sounds like, all of them. But for example, I know some people who, and I also don't know the name, so I'm just going to call it clairsnifiants too,
That's great. I made up a new word. Yay. Okay.
are really strong with that. They can smell things and it's really amazing. That's kind of how they get messages. And also, you said tuning into your intuition. And for listeners, because I think this can be a little bit of an abstract
Right.
idea for a lot of people who don't experience this. What was that like for you? Was there anything that is tangible that you could share about how you tuned into your intuition to amplify your
Yeah, my
gifts?
my story is it's interesting because my mom was very much into the metaphysical, but she wasn't herself, didn't have or didn't say she had these gifts. But she would always tell me that I did, and I didn't believe it because I was a kid. And my mom and I did not get along. We get along great now, but we did not get along. So it was just she'd tell me, "Oh, you're so psychic. You have this power and that power, whatever." Because I just teenager just being rude and not didn't believe her. My whole life, I've had so many instances where I have very psychically found something that was missing or heard things. I've seen things my whole life, but somehow managed to brush it off, like almost as a rebellion against my mom, is what I think. I was able to just, oh, it's a coincidence. Whatever, whatever. So in 2020 was when I had my full awakening. And the way that came about was there were things that were happening in my house that we just moved into. And there were four major things that happened that I'm like, okay, obviously something's going on. And I always watch the ghost hunter shows and stuff. So I've always been into it. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to get a reading because I'd never had a reading before. I'm going to call up a psychic that I don't know. She doesn't know me. And I'm just going to see what she says. If she says that I'm psychic, then I'll believe her. Right. So I called this amazing psychic. And second thing out of her mouth was, well, you're psychic, right? And I'm like, I do now. Yep. And then she went on, and at one point, But when she was done with the reading, she said, "Do I have any questions?" And I said, "Yeah, I've had this being around me. He's followed me from house to house, bringing the smell of cigarette smoke, which I can't stand. It makes my eyes water, my throat scratchy. And that's how strong it was. And we were living on a mountain where we couldn't even see our neighbor's house. And in the middle of wintertime with fence, everything's shut. So there's no way it could be someone from outside. But he followed me from house to house. And I said, "Can you tell me who that is?" And so she described him to me, and I didn't recognize him. And she said, "Well, maybe it's somebody on your husband's side." And then I was like, "Well, then why does he keep coming to me?" And she's like, "Because you're the medium, honey." And I had never thought medium. I thought psychic. I believed the psychic, but I had never thought that I was a medium. And then I'm like, duh. I mean, I know this guy. He follows me at every house. Turns out he's a protector of mine. He would never talk to me for like years. He wouldn't talk to me. And finally, one time, he showed me his card. I said, "Please, just let me know who you are." So he showed me his card, and on the front it said Samuel. And then he turned it around. On the back it said protector. And that was that.
I
Oh,
love that.
So he still didn't talk to me, but he showed me who he was. So it's just here. I have a great exercise for someone who wants to dabble in this. It's an exercise. It's called, wait, do you hear that? Okay. And you do that to see what is, if something comes up, you just stop. Wait, did you hear that? And you know how you focus when someone says that? You get quiet and focus. That's what you do. And you just keep doing that. And then it'll start to really, oh, ooh, you'll feel that. And it'll just develop that way. But if anybody does want help with developing, I am a spiritual coach. So I would be happy to help them.
And they can find that information at
Yes.
infinitesoulreadings.com,
Yes.
right? Wonderful. And then if they want to get a reading as well, whether it's a mediumship reading or an oracle reading, they can also go on to your
Yep. They can
website.
book the appointment right there on the website. And my program is on there. And yeah, definitely.
I want to thank you so, so much for this. This has been really amazing. I hope that everyone goes on and onto your website, onto infinitesoulreadings.com to learn more about what you do to develop these skills. I am like biased here because I think we should
Yeah.
all develop these skills. But it's great to have a
Mhm.
guide like you walk us through and be able to learn everything that comes along with it, like what you shared, for example, what side of the family stands on what side, like these
Yeah.
little nuggets that are really helpful. Because I do agree with what you said. I think this is very healing.
Yes.
This is getting that information. And I know that other people may have similar experiences that could be really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. Definitely. I do want to tell you the story
Mm.
about that I wrote in Beyond the Ordinary. Remember, I was talking about this book? This is the #1
Yeah.
bestseller by Mandy Nicholson. I wrote a chapter in there, and I would really like to talk to you guys about that chapter and share it with you. And it's more of the mediumship stuff, but it's about loss and grief and art and how art is healing and how art saved my life.
that is beautiful. Well, we would love to have you back, Shelley. This was just an amazing episode. Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate you taking the time to do this and to bring forth our loved ones so we could
Yes.
have a nice chat. And just to share once again that these unconventional paths we take really are the norm and really can help us heal and bring peace and joy and comfort. So thank you. And for all our free spirits out there, as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody who could benefit from this message. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and as always, keep flying upstream. All right, free spirits, that's all the time we have for today on Flying Upstream.
We hope this episode sparked your curiosity and ignited a desire to explore the extraordinary paths less traveled.
Even when the current feels strong, a whole world of possibilities awaits.
We'll see you next time on the other side of mainstream.
So keep questioning, keep challenging, and most importantly, keep flying upstream.